Hey again, people, on this swatting hoax. So I did a video a while back on swatting, and that's where these gamers are pissed off at each other playing jokes. So they call the cops. They do a reverse on their IP, figure out their address. They call the cops in their jurisdiction and say, hey, this guy did this, or this guy's got a gun, or there's a fight. And then they get the SWAT team to respond to the house, take them down at gunpoint. They think it's funny. And some of the guys even turn on their video cameras when it happens so they can make a video of them getting taken down at gunpoint. Anyway, it's a dangerous practice. And most reasonable people would think, you know, when you send fearful cops in there on gun calls, I mean, especially in this day and age, pretty much where cops shoot first and ask questions later, a guy ends up getting killed. And it's a sad situation. So evidently, and I got a couple little video. I got a video of the guy getting where the cop shoots him. And I'm not sure this is a good shoot either. I think the guy who shot was probably a little premature, and he's going to have some issues in the internal investigations. But they'll end up clearing him. And I know people are going to be pissed off. You're taking the cop's side. No, I'm not. I'm telling you how it's going to end up. So a 28-year-old man was shot yesterday at a police station, a hostage situation. It was a shooting call involving hostages, and the original call, we were told someone had an argument with their mother or dad, accidentally shot. Now the person was holding the mother and brother hostage. So when they made this call, they set it up that cops are responding to a suspect, to a house that has already killed somebody, that is upset and anger, and now he has kids in a house hostage. So that's going to inflame officers and heighten the the urgency of any call that you get like that. I mean, very, very stupid of this guy, but you know what? It is what it is. The guy did the call, and they end up shooting the guy, and now this guy is going to get charged. So they were playing Call of Duty, and they had an online wager of $1.50, I guess, and one of them said, I'll SWAT you, and evidently the guy was like, you know what, I'll give you my address. Go ahead, knock yourself out. I'll see you in prison. Well, the joke's on you for giving out your address. Here's a picture, which is going to be Exhibit A in the criminal case. So it starts out, this guy, he's defending himself. I didn't get anybody killed because I didn't discharge a weapon and bring a SWAT member, and being a SWAT member isn't my profession. So his defense, according to this statement, is I have no liability because I didn't shoot the guy. Someone else shot him. He's not connecting the dots to say, in a criminal case, if you put acts in motion that result in a death, you can be charged for the results of that death. So he put acts in motion, providing false information, making a false report, calling 911, reporting a shooting, and that somebody killed somebody. He put those facts in purpose. Therefore, the defense or the prosecution will say, had he not done that, none of this would have happened. He started this death in act or in progress by his actions. And the kids in the house I wanted to SWAT it is on the news. So now he's saying, oh shit, the house that I SWATted is on the news now. So he admitted right there, besides the fact they've got all the IP addresses, they're going to track who talked, how they're going, etc. And then in this little area, it looks like he showed in his defense, hey, the guy gave me his address and told me to do it. So therefore, I'm safe. And the guy who is dead now said, I'll be waiting. Here's my address. I'll have you in prison for 5 years. Buddy, you already admitted it. So, bad move on this guy's part. This is what happens the day two idiots meet. Somebody ends up dead, and both of them are claiming, I'm right and I didn't do anything wrong. So, it goes on down here. The person behind the account that called into swatting, I guess, has already said he did other threats like evacuation of the Dallas Convention Center with a bomb threat to Florida High School. He caused a threat to pause the FCC on net neutrality vote. So this guy's obviously computer savvy. He'll probably end up cutting a deal and end up working for the NSA if he's really good. But he's done quite a few things. I'm surprised they haven't caught him yet. and now he's kind of admitted it. So not only are they going to charge him with the murder, they're going to charge him with the potential murder, or they're going to show what's called scheme and design of his crime, his continued criminal effort. Hell, they could try to get him for conspiracy on all these because it's an ongoing crime and it's an ongoing conspiracy to do this. So, I mean, they're going to stack the charges and stack the deck on this guy. He's kind of screwed. People will eventually, he's saying, tell me to turn myself in. I can't do that. I know it's morally right. I'm too scared. So he's going to go into hiding. I don't know if they've caught the guy yet. I thought I read he was in custody. Bomb threats are more fun and cooler than SWATs, in my opinion. You know, a bomb threat's cool until a cop dies responding to it, until fire department is setting up a barrier and a drunk runs him over. Any acts that happen when you call in a bomb threat as a result of you calling it in ends up hanging it around your neck. So he may think it's fun and cooler. And again, this is the society we're breeding, the liberalism. These are the same people that vote for Hillary and Obama, that think socialism is great, that think government is a tool to come in and save people, and now we can use government to fight our enemies, and we'll use government to go after people we don't like, and we'll lie. And I mean, it's just, it's a Pandora's box. It's open. The liberals open it daily and shove shit in it. Confirm the incident. The chief kind of said here in this little interview that even while the cops were on scene, these guys were still calling.
Some information that we released. After our press conference, I learned the suspect continued to call 911 after officers had already arrived at the scene. As a result, the timeline from 9/11 may not match the timeline of the officer. Investigation is dynamic.
That is a cover your butt call. Evidently, his earlier press release, they said the guy didn't die till like 9:45, when in fact he died at 9:26. And he's trying to cover his butt now by saying, that's why I released the wrong. I don't know why he released the wrong death. Could have been a typo. It's not critical. I don't think they were trying to cover up that the guy died 15 minutes later. But he's kind of covering his butt saying, hey, there's a delay between 911 and the officers. Because when 911 gets information, there's a dispatcher. She's getting the information. She's typing it in the system. Another person, maybe working the radio, has to read what she wrote. Then she has to wait till the air clears to where officers aren't communicating and saying, hey, move here, I need somebody, I got somebody moving. So they clear the air, so the cops are talking. They can't get out the information immediately as they get it. And so there's a lag time between the officers on scene and the person on the phone. So the only way I think that'll be critical is if the guy said, hey, I'm playing a joke. I'm just swatting this guy. None of this really happened. If the guy said that in the 911 call and 911 did not give it out in a reasonable time or get it out to the officers, and then the guy was shot later as a result of that information not getting out, that's going to be a big help to this guy's defense. So I'm not sure why the time was different and why he did this, but he's definitely trying to cover his butt here.
Complex, and there's a lot of information to go through, and we were trying to get it to you in a timely manner. One inconsistency we found was that the male was actually shot at 6:28 p.m. and not 6:46 p.m.
So that time, if that could be critical to the guy's defense, if he confessed on the 911 tape, said, hey, I'm just swatting this guy, it's not real true. That doesn't mean the cops are going to leave, because the cops, again, have established what, in some terms, a special relationship. They've responded, they've surrounded, they've started contact, communication, conversations with a reported party, and there may be people in danger. And it's funny, I mean, government can say, hey, we were relying on the 911 call, and that's why we did all that. And then when the 911 call was saying, hey, it's a fake, we can't rely on that because we're already there. We have to continue to go do. That's why I say you can never get government uninvolved once you get them involved. Once they get their fingers in, you put things in motion that you cannot stop or control. That's why it's not good to get government involved. That's why when government's too big and they get involved in everything, it usually turns out bad. So here's a quick video on the guy getting shot. And again, this is a long distance cam. Here's the driveway. I see a patrol car parked here. I don't know where the cop is. It looks like the shot may have come from here, but really I can't tell. I'm assuming the shot came from here because they're showing his body cam on what he saw. But maybe one of these guys on the side of the house or someone else shot. Somebody shoots when a guy comes out. I think I see his hand raised up a little bit. But again, I'm not sure there's a real threat here. The officer's defense in this is going to be, I had reason to believe from a 911 call that there was a person in here that had already killed somebody. Therefore, his capability for violence has already been done. I know he's violent. Somebody's dead. They could be bleeding out. We need to get in for medical aid. We possibly have kids who are being hostages. We have a guy who we believe is a suspect at the front door, and if we let him go back in the house, he could hurt or kill the kids. Therefore, when I thought he was leaving and going to go back in the house, or when he raised his hand, I felt my life was in danger, other officer lives are in danger, and or the people in the house were in danger. The person who was possibly already shot and the kids who were possibly being held hostage. That's going to be the defense. Right, wrong, or indifferent. People ain't going to like it. The jury's going to say, you know what? It was a tough case. We're not going to hold the cop responsible. We're going to hold the guy that called and put all this in motion responsible. I think that's how it'll turn out. Now, of course, the trials will be different. The cop's trial will be different than the guy who called trial. So the cop's trial, the jury is going to be like, oh, yeah, we understand where the cop's coming from. In the suspect's trial, it'll be, you know what? Hey, the cop acted reasonably, and he should have done it, and we think the guy who set this in motion is responsible. I think the guy who caused his death and called in is going to get convicted. I think the cop's going to be found not guilty. Here's the video.
Hey! Walk this way! Walk!
Okay. To me, that was a little premature shot. I mean, I did see the guy raise his hand. It sounded like the shot came close to the camera. So if this video we're watching, I'm thinking the shot came from here. The officer is behind cover. He's got a great distance. He's not in danger. If he's shot from this distance, that's going to be a huge hurdle to get over. Why did he shoot? Why did he fill his life? Now, if the guy saw one of his partners and looked, his defense will be, when he looked at my partner, I thought he was going to shoot him. Therefore, I had a clear shot, and I shot to save the life of my partner, which is justified because I'm protecting the life of others. Really bad case for the guy that sent him. Bad case for the guy that gave him his address and said, bring it on. You know, the keyboard warriors out there getting online. Turned out bad. Somebody's dead. You can't undo that. And, you know, we'll have to see how it plays out. We'll end that there.